Well, speaking of gaming, there's a new game out that's taking the world by storm that
You might have heard of it.
Dave and I have partaken in. We're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. Now, there's much. This is not just a regular game that comes out and is either good and people like it or bad and people don't like it. This game has forced people to separate sides of the aisle. So not going to focus on that so much, but all that to say, Hogwarts Legacy has come out. It's the open world, wizarding world prequel, I guess, to Harry Potter. I don't know. Have you heard? Is it like canon? Is this part of the Harry Potter lore? Has
Yeah, I think
J.K.
it's
Rowling
supposed to
put the
be,
blessing?
but I also think it takes place in the 1800s, so it's like I feel like they picked a time that was as far away from possible of Harry Potter to be like, okay, this has nothing to do with that, but it's still. I don't know how you feel about it. I know we've been texting each other just ridiculous things about like what we've gone through. I almost feel like because I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but like even
You
though
got
I
to read the
look
books.
even
You
though
got
I
to read
look
the book.
Harry Potter esque. But like I feel like the game is almost like, again, I didn't read the books. I only watched the movies. I kind of feel like the game is putting the movies to shame because it focuses on like the best part. Whereas like to me, like the characters aren't actually that interesting in Harry Potter. Like Hermione just basically does everything
Yeah.
and everything else, everyone else is kind of worthless. And Harry's just kind of like inherits a legacy by doing not by like not even proving anything. But sorry, Harry Potter fans. But I feel like the game is like takes all the best qualities, which is like the mythology, like the houses and like how like the enemies you encounter and all the like the coolest aspects of it, which is why I'm kind of enjoying it.
Well, they literally, I mean, the cool thing is they literally give Hogwarts itself its own lore. And I don't know, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I've watched I enjoy the movies on like a popcorn level. Some of them are not very good and not like fun to watch. Some of them are kind of a drag. Hogwarts itself in this game is like enchanted with ancient magic, which is kind of the premise of the whole game and your character and how that relates to the world. But I 100% agree with you. I think one of the thing I text you was I've been playing for 4 hours and I feel like I understand more about the Wizarding World than I ever did from any of the movies. And part of that is like kind of what we're talking about with The Last of Us. You have so much time to spend in this world and explore, and I haven't even gotten to that aspect yet. The actual real open worldness. I still feel like I'm in the learning and the tutorial teaching you kind of how this whole thing works. But
Okay, stop teaching me.
just let me be my own, which but it's so fun. It's so fun to just roam around, and the quests are really fun. The mechanics of the game are really fun. The fighting sequences and the fighting mechanics of the game are awesome and work really well in a way that like I never thought, because we've talked about that too, where it's like fighting with wands should be way cooler. That's their lightsaber, right? That's their lightsaber battles, and
Yeah.
they're never that awesome as they could be. This game has found a way to make the mechanics of it really fun, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Like I said, I haven't even really scratched the surface of this thing, but to me, it reminds me my favorite game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2, especially like the online version. So I hope that Hogwarts opens up a online multiplayer. I think, man, I can't even imagine how much fun that would be.
And Eli, for those of you that don't know, goes to real dark places.
Yeah,
He did in Red Dead too. So I think you were saying that your objective in this game is to try to emulate the darkness of your Red Dead 2 experience as much as possible.
I'm really trying to ascend to the heights of Voldemort, and I don't know how to do that yet, but I do know that all of my responses to everything in the game so far is really just to be a dick. That's the way I play Oregon Trail. That's the way I play everything. It's like you gotta if you want to be. It's everything. I put. Okay, look. I'll say it like this. My characters in gaming, when I'm forced to make choices, they're all the choices and instincts that I don't have as a real human being. So I would never take a girl's diary on false pretenses and then not get it back just to blackmail her, right? But I will in Hogwarts. I'll go hard, and I'm very unlikable. Same way with Red Dead. Red Dead, my honor level. I mean, I don't know if you can get negative stars, but I had negative stars. But I love Red Dead so much, and there's so much about this game that reminds me of Red Dead. And like I said, I hope they open it up more. I hope they introduce an online mode. I think that's the natural next step of this thing. But I'm really having fun with it, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I'm
I
having a lot
feel
of
like
fun with
you're
it.
I feel like you're kind of giving Slytherin a bad name, but
Dude, there's no way I could give it a worse name
but
than
also
Salazar already gave to it. All right, Salazar is the king dick of Slytherin.
the king dick.
King dick. But it also makes you wonder, like, why the hell can they not make a Marvel like MCU game or Star Wars game that's comparable. You know, I mean, they kind of did it with Knights of the Old Republic, but why isn't there a world where you can just?
Well, I'd say Fallen Order is super good.
Fallen Order is good, but it's just not like I don't know. I just want a very simple game, Star Wars universe, different systems that they can update with new levels, new systems, new characters, and you have different roles: bounty hunter, Jedi, Sith.
Yeah, it's less yeah, because it's more because Fallen Order is like heavy story. It's less less like like RPing really. Like you can't customize anything much.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, going back to Hogwarts Legacy, I think the one complaint that we kind of have is the sorting of how you get into a house is so easy to manipulate that I want less control. I was kind of hoping for less control over that. I was kind of hoping that you could kind of make your character, you know, kind of like we were talking too about the Pottermore website. You know, you can go and do the sorting hat through the website, and it's really intuitive. And they ask you a lot of questions.
Super in depth. Yeah, you find out your what's it called? The spirit animal. I forgot what they call.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
your wand. Like everything about it is like super in depth, which is fun. And you can actually make your accounts and use that, which is pretty cool. Oh, Patronus. Yeah.
Sorry to be the resident Potter nerd. I never thought I would describe myself as that.
It's called Patronus.
It's similar to a pensive. It's actually not. It's way different. But yeah, so stoked to see where it's going. Vince, have you seen anything about Hogwarts Legacy, or have you been watching anything? I know that you haven't purchased the game yet.
No, I plan on getting it soon. All I've really seen and kind of was laughing about was just kind of the controversy behind it.
Yeah.
It's just wild, dude. It's wild
pretty wild.
Be that upset about something where like instead of just talking about it all day long, just maybe don't buy it or don't participate in making it if you're that.
Yeah, don't create like Schindler's lists of people that
dude.
It, you know, and try to bury people.
Yeah. Maybe. Try to bury people because they are just doing their own thing. I really want to check it out, though.
All unify and like critiquing the movies, you know. I feel like will really bring everybody together. That's the place to put that energy, I think, you know.
Yeah, I do want to check it out. I saw a few things that made me more excited about checking it out. It was talking about how depending on which house you choose, the game is completely different. And there's certain game. I'm not a Harry Potter nerd such as yourself, Eli. But one of the houses allows you to be able to.
It's relative.
Well, you're blowing my mind.
Pensive.
What is it? The Prisoners of Azkaban? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? One of the houses, I think it's like the least liked house, is the only house you're able to experience that in the game. So I saw an Instagram post talking about how like no one's able to go to the one spot that they want to go to because no one's
Hufflepuff?
I think is Hufflepuff the hated one? What is it? Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Hufflepuff?
In different ways.
It gets the least respect. I think I can say that.
I think it gets the least it's the most made fun of, I would say.
What are the other two houses?
There's Gryffindor and
Ravenclaw.
Maybe it's
Ravenclaw is kind of like the most like knowledge based.
And let's be honest, like the opinions of the houses that people have are all based on the fact that there weren't any major characters really from Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw, with the exception of like Edward. What's the dude's name from Robert Pattinson's character, who I think was Hufflepuff. And Goblet of Fire, but
it's basically just like if you're not in Gryffindor, you suck, and no one cares.
If you're Slytherin, you're pure evil.
Yeah, you're just a dick.
I have a question.
Whereas the game's doing a good job with that because there's awesome Slytherin characters that are like really cool.
I would definitely go Slytherin. I don't know how far into the game you guys are. Do you ever leave Hogwarts? Like, do you get to go? Yeah, can you go to like the bank?
Yeah. What's crazy is like even Hogwarts alone is like huge, dude.
Yeah,
like
seems like it would be.
Like we're like 12 hours in and still finding parts of Hogwarts we'd never went to. Like it's literally like as big as Hogwarts is, and there's tons of stuff. But yeah, then there's also like tons of stuff. That's like Hogwarts is only like one part too of probably like, you know, several huge sprawling areas. So
okay, and it's open world. Are there areas? Did you guys ever play Fallout? Is it where like you can go and like make a wrong turn and then it's like level 80 guys that just completely fuck you up? Is that how the game is made, or?
It's not quite that open world. It's a little more like like you can't. I don't know if you could really just go through the entire game to the other side. I think it corrals you like a little bit.
Okay.
It's not as like, because it's a little more story driven than like, Skyrim and Fallout are like at the complete end of the spectrum of like you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, like we're not going to tell you what your character is. Whereas this is kind of maybe like, in the middle, sort of like,
the bumpers are up,
student, you have to go to class.
Gotcha.
Like you have to like
Gotcha.
I was almost like hoping that it was a little more within confines, actually. And
Okay.
typically I like to have as much freedom as possible, but in this case, I'm actually like, like you don't have to ever sleep or do anything, which is like, I get why they don't do that, obviously, because it's like, you don't want it to seem like you're playing The Sims, but like, at the same time, like I want to feel like I'm a student at Hogwarts. So I was kind of hoping they would like, you can just walk around in the dead of night and do whatever you want and no one's around you. And I'm like, could you really get away with doing that? Like if you were a student in Hogwarts, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be like even like I don't know how much you play computer games, but have you heard of Escape from Tarkov?
Oh, I haven't played it.
Like you're running around and like you have to remember to drink, and like there's so many details where it's like you're a fucking living thing, so you also have to remember to like survive, let alone play the game.
Yeah, like a survival game.
Yeah. But I was asking if it's kind of like Fallout because I kind of feel like I need those guardrails, because in Fallout I would always turn the corner and I would get fucked up and it would just ruin the game because then I'd forget where I was supposed to go, and it didn't have those guardrails. So I can see like needing them, but also it's kind of cool to have the open world aspect to do whatever you want to. It would be cool if you're like missing class and you got a detention and you were forced to like do something you didn't want to do.
Yeah, something like that would kind of be like would be interesting. But yeah, I was gonna say too, like apparently, so Quidditch is not in the game, which is pretty crazy because it's such a big part of like the Harry Potter lore. And I was trying to figure out why that was, and I saw different articles like apparently it was going to be in the game, but there's like rumors that they like cut it like a month before release, so it must have been either like they ran out of time, and so they ended up just making it a part of the story that like the headmaster stops Quidditch, or they were like, well, we should add that to a DLC that we'll put that in later. Maybe we'll add the multiplayer like Eli was saying.
Maybe they only had boys and girls teams and they're like, fuck, we're gonna get in trouble for this one.
Vince always coming in hot with the controversy, dude.
And then he disappears, dude.
Dips out. Yeah, so I'm with you. I hope that like with what you were, I wanted to go back and say like kind of comment on that too. I really do appreciate how they use that classes at Hogwarts though to teach you, because it's just a giant tutorial, right? Of like, here's how charms work, here's how spells work, here's how to use your wand, here's how to fight with it. But I appreciate how they're using that, and they're using Hogwarts to kind of guide you through the game. So yeah, I'm going to keep going. I can't wait to, maybe we'll have to do a Hogwarts segment where we just update where we're at. Or maybe that's enough said. Maybe we said everything there is to say about it.